things like that. So I would like to create that position.
Okay, is Christina gonna talk to us about the salary and
I think it was in there, but the
Okay.
salary for
I'm
the position of
just looking to be
public relations clerk.
public record anyway?
Start out at a grade 5, which is hourly. It starts out at 11.92 or 11.93 an hour. It would be
How is that gonna compare to the budget you had for the jailer?
Lower. It's lower. The jailer's a step 6, if I'm not mistaken. I mean grade 6. So it would actually start at a lower grade than
So
the
we're
jailer.
financially recovered then.
Financially recovered. I'm budgeted for the jailer. I just don't think I need the jailer as much as I need this clerk position, and it's actually less than budget.
This is the, you said clerk, you're talking about public relations.
technician.
Technician. I'm sorry. Yes, I call it clerk, but it's technician. Yes. Uh huh.
I like the concept
Yeah.
of that position.
Okay.
Me too. Okay, thank
All
you.
right. That's it. Thank you.
Council, I just I had one thing that I wanted to add to the agenda. It's kind of a last minute real estate and personnel issue, and I was going to see if we could go into executive session for no more than 5 minutes to discuss.
You wanna do that now or you wanna do that?
I'd like to do it now if I could.
Okay, and it's for,
Real estate and personnel issue.
okay. So do I have a motion to go into executive session for real estate and personnel
So moved.
issues?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we're going to executive session and we'll resume back afterwards.
I don't suspect it'll take more than 5 minutes or so.
Okay, 8 minutes.
Greg, you're so soft spoken, but that mic not working, you're gonna have to holler.
I can get loud.
Do it.
But yeah, my whole thing.
No, just, he doesn't need to mess with it. He just needs to leave it alone. Don't touch. Thank you, sir. You're quite helpful. Sort of makes a lot. And Green Boy. I went in Dan's office this afternoon and I told her, I saw your nemesis a few minutes ago. She said, "Who is it?" And I said, "Darby, the Fight Club." Trying to get him to fight karate style. And we can tell too, this fight money. Wasn't it excellent? He makes a lot of money. I'd pay good money to see that, wouldn't you? Apparently he got delayed. Got delayed in Atlanta. Maybe they didn't finish the plan was in my office before. She said that Tommy was in Atlanta anyway. If the wedding was not having any. Just imagine on
So,
I know one thing I took up one of those flights from Atlanta, from Dayton to Atlanta. One morning that it was raining, and it had been a little stormy overnight. It was like first thing in the morning. It was just and I'm not scared of flying or anything, but
I know, but they start passing around.
no, it was all over the place.
We flew into Buffalo
Mm-hmm.
and flying into the wind. Like this. Oh my God, I was trying to steer that thing. It does like this.
You know, the first flight usually out of Dayton in the morning is a lot of business people. And I had sitting back behind yours and see everything. And you know how the little stewardess sits on like that little jump, yeah, that little jump seat or whatever they call it, and bench and stuff on those small planes. And we both just kept looking at her. And he was like, I think we're fine. I think we're fine. If if all of a sudden she, you know, we might need to panic a little bit more then. But we're okay. Thank God that it's, you know, it's not a long flight, but it's all over the place. Very good. You give that.
Good chance to-
Out of Holland. Lights on that. Thank you. I guess it's a bad mic.
Okay. So we'll resume our council work session. And we need to pick up at finance, hiring action, Ms. Swartz.
So, just to let you all know that Lori then has submitted a letter of resignation for her position with as director, finance director, and so our size municipality really, for our needs, is not really in need of both a CFO and a finance director. So generally, for our size, you would see one or the other. So at this time, I don't really see the need to replace her hiring at another finance director level. So the idea here is to replace that position, and maybe Christina can maybe explain it a little better than me because her position was appointed. What we would like to do is revamp that position and bring in someone at a finance accounting manager level, which would be a classified position, and still performing a lot of the daily accounting function duties and overseeing the personnel on a daily basis, because we still need someone to do that and to perform those functions. I think we can just do it at not at a director level, at more of a classified position for accounting manager. So I don't know if you've got any questions, or I think the duties and the job description that we worked through with Christina is in the packet for you. So I don't know if you have any questions.
I don't. Christina, is there anything you want to enlighten us about?
And the reason why we have to come before you and make this request is because the finance director position was appointed. So this would be a classified position and would be put into the pay plan. And we're recommending that it be placed at a grade 12, which that salary would be $57,845,
Which is less, of course.
which is less.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not mistaken, that is on our agenda tonight. So
Yes, ma'am.
we will consider that later.
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody have any questions for them? Thank you, ladies.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Morgan, street resurfacing update.
Thank you. Just a quick update, and I'll try to be as brief as possible. Back in March, the council approved going forward with what I'm calling phase 2. I call in the last one we just got through with phase 1. So this would be like a phase 2 project with a budget in the neighborhood of $3.8 million. And if you remember back in March, I handed you out a listing that listed about a $7 million total on those streets that I gave you. Those streets came right out of the barge assessment, starting at the worst street in the city and then working up. That's how that street list was generated. So I handed out you an updated list. How that list was updated, basically, since March, we gave that list that I gave you to the water department first, and let the water department go down every street, and they looked at the water potential issues with the water system. They ranked it high, low, or medium. If you look on the sheet I handed out there on that right-hand column, that's what that would be: high risk, moderate risk, or low risk. They also gave me a lot of other additional information. It's not on this sheet as to what the particular problem was. In addition to that, I also give it to the Public Works Department because sometimes they have sewer issues or drainage issues associated with streets that may need to be adjusted or fixed before the streets repaved. The other entity was Southeast Gas. we found out in the phase 1 project that the Southeast Gas was in the process of retiring old risers, and they were actually mandated by law to do that. And that involved them going into the street and cutting it, killing an old gas riser. And so I give that complete list to Southeast Gas. They went through it and also give us that information back. So we took all of that information and compiled it into our master spreadsheet and resorted it. And I sorted it basically for streets that had no water issues or low risk water issues. So the list I give you is that updated list of streets. And as you notice, as you go down the street, the PCI index, which is the driver, the lower that index, the worse the street is. The higher the index, the better the street is from the assessment. And you'll see that PCI, as you go down that list, obviously it varies because a lot of the streets that were some of the worst streets also have water issues in them. So some of those streets got pushed down in the list. Some that were further down in the list got rotated up into the list. If you flip to page 3, at the top, I put a highlighted bar there just under a running total of about 3.8 million. So that's kind of the cutoff line would be for this phase of project. A couple of other notes. There's a couple of things I've got highlighted, streets I've got highlighted. If you start on page 1, these are some streets that have been already mentioned. Freedom Drive is one of them, and that street is on the list. I highlighted it just so everybody would know that it is on the list. On page 2, there's one there listed, Sessions Avenue. It was in the assessment, however, it's been determined since then. I think that's private. That road is not a city street, so that's the reason I marked through it. The other one I listed was Shellfield Road. I've had some preliminary conversations with Jonathan and Barry both about Shellfield Road. It's a large, obviously it's going from the bypass all the way to 27, so it is a long stretch. It's about an $850,000 paving project just to resurface. So we talked about the possibility of holding Shellfield Road until the roundabout's completed on 27 maybe, so pushing it down a phase or two. So we're still considering that. I just wanted to point that out. The other one was Porter Lunsford Road. I think it was last year, the Coffee County applied for a FLAP application to get some funding, some federal funding on that. It wasn't approved. I've sent an email to Michael Walters. He hasn't responded back from the county yet to see if they're reapplying for that particular application or not. So I don't know the answer to that, but I flagged it just for that reason. And on page 3, a couple other highlights. Bellwood Road just is under the cut line there. We put in a Rebuild Alabama Act application for that last year, and it was not funded. So it may be a decision made maybe to put that back in. I don't know. We haven't made that yet, but just for information. And South Industrial Boulevard's the other one. It's at the bottom of page 3 there. I know that's been mentioned. Someone's brought it up. That road's in bad shape, but it also fell out into high-risk water. Now, and I know that's kind of a priority, so I talked to the water department with Alan, and it's got a galvanized services. He's already replaced one service on that street, so it's possible that he could just handle that internally with the water department. We may be able to move that street up on the list. So, so that's this whole list goes to about 7 million total. The reason I did that originally was because I knew that when we sorted this list, we were going to be pulling from that full list. As far as where it's at, we're about 75% done with the field topo on all these streets. So we're getting close to having all that data back in our office, and we'll begin to compile the plans at that point. As far as tentative schedule, I'm looking, hopefully we could be ready to advertise the project possibly in June. I'll come back to you before that with a request to authorize us to advertise the project, but just looking at it now, I'm hopeful I can get there in June. And that would put us probably in an August time frame for a notice to proceed, and the end of the year probably to have it done at best case.
And that's just for that first.
That's just for that first
half
phase. Yeah, the one that's been authorized to this point.
So if you take you said possibly taking Shellfield Road out, is that
Yes.
still going to be, that money's still there,
Yeah,
just.
yeah, it would come out, so we possibly could add some street to that,
Okay,
yes,
so add
to take its place, that's correct. We could pave a lot of city street with what it would take to pave that road, so yes, we would put some streets up into the list, that's what I would say.
Any questions for Glenn, anybody?
Yeah.
Okay, Barry?
Just real quick, the Sheffield Road, I reached out to CDG, they're our consultant that's designed the roundabout, and one of my concerns was with that much work around that intersection, the last thing I want to do is pave that road and then turn around, they're trying to get materials, how are they gonna bring materials in there? So I wanna know a little bit more about how we would phase that roundabout project before we make the call whether Sheffield Road's in there or not. So, we're working on that, just need a little bit more time to get that resolved. And if you look at it, that's, it's almost $1 million project within itself. You could get a lot more of the smaller streets done for that $1 million. So, I mean, eventually we're going to get all these roads done, but we won't lose the money if we decide to pull Sheffield out at this time. We'll just put it in the next phase. Okay.
Makes sense. Any questions, anybody? No questions?
If y'all get into the list reviewing it, feel free to let me know, I'm glad to answer any questions as you do that.
Okay.
These streets that are listed in the medium and high risk, basically most of that has to do with water service.
It's water services. Water services are main, it could be either one, main or
Right.
service.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. Okay, bond issuance, Mr. Towers.
Sure. I just wanted to, I know we've spoken at length on several council meetings over the last few months about our Series A and Series B bonds. The mayor signed the paperwork this last week. We were able to get a net effective rate of about 2% on the bonds for an aggregate total to the city of about $21 million. Should end up saving us about $200,000 a year on debt service payments. When we initially started out, we were looking at a targeted rate of about 2.3%. So on those monies, those are the general obligation bond funds that'd be outstanding. In that 21 million, we're talking about infrastructure projects mainly. We looked at a targeted number of about $16 million for roads, give or take. Some city hall renovations in that, sidewalk projects, parking lots potentially. Those are the type of things that we envision for that Series A and Series B. We have bond validation on May 11th for the Series C bonds. We're still monitoring the rates, but if things stay kind of in that ballpark, we would be looking at doing that for the Parks and Rec type facilities, pool, ball fields, whatever it is that you guys want to use the funding for, as well as for the Veterans Home. So did anybody have any questions? I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew the mayor had engaged that. May 18th, we should have that money in our bank account.
And it's your and Rainer's desire for us to suspend the rules to consider that ordinance. Is that
correct? And I think the only change on that really is part of the refi that we did on the 2015 series impacted the water board, and only impacted, it was money we borrowed on behalf of the water board. The city borrowed that, but there's a fee schedule that the water board pays the city to reimburse them for that. Because we got a lower interest rate, we would subsequently pass that savings along to the water board and need to readjust that contract. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. So now we have, if you recall last work session, we had some discussion about the Christmas parade, about the dates or the day from Tuesday to Friday. So we'll pick back up with a little bit of that discussion. Eugene, I'll yield to you first to give us an update on, if you recall, in our last work session, we decided to allow both sides of the chamber, as well as the downtown merchants, to get together to see if there could be some resolve concerning the Friday versus the Tuesday day. And they met this week, and Councilman Gooseby is going to update us on how that went.
Well, there's two sides to the story. Of course, I have my side, and Councilman Scotty Johnson has his side. So I'm gonna present my side of the story. Last Wednesday night, April 28th, we had a group to meet about the date of the Christmas parade being changed from the first Tuesday night to the Thanksgiving until Friday night. Basically, the meeting was due to a strong opposition from the downtown restaurant group. Several downtown restaurants were represented at the meeting, as well as the president of the Friends of Downtown, Judge Paul Sherlin from the Chamber, Aaron from the Chamber, Councilman Eugene Goolsby, Scotty Johnson, a representative from the Christmas Parade Committee, the police chief, and Jonathan Tullis were present. The meeting lasted almost 2 hours and came to no final conclusion. Each of the represented restaurants were opposed to moving it to Friday night due to them losing money in their place of business. One owner stated that he would lose approximately $5,000 to $6,000, while the other said they would not only lose money, but you had to be able to look at the parties and consider the effect it would have on their servers. Yet another said they would not be able to book a large party on that night. All of them explained that December is their biggest month of the year, and Friday and Saturday night is their biggest days of the week. Parking was also discussed as being a big issue, with people parking a pickup truck in a parking space even a day ahead of the parade so that they could sit in the back of the parade and back of the truck and watch the parade. But the biggest issue is with the restaurants losing money that night. Many of the shops on Main Street could care less which night it was scheduled for, but the same as the restaurants, Fridays and Saturdays are their best days of the week. Lots of pros and cons were discussed, even moving the parade from Main Street to Edward Street. Police Chief Moore referred to the call volume on Friday night as historically a large or a high volume call night, and the calls are more serious than other nights. He also has 9 personnel that are still in the military, and their drills are the first weekend, 4th and 5th of December of 2021. Billy Powell provided a list of the services that they provide on the dates for 2020 and 2021. He and his department are willing to do whatever is necessary for either date, but being on Tuesday night would give them a break from doing something 3 nights in a row. I have talked with 2 churches that participate in the parade. They would like to see it remain on Tuesday night. Additionally, I have talked with students, and they all prefer for it to remain on Tuesday night. Surrounding towns and cities all know that Enterprises had their Christmas parade on Tuesday after Thanksgiving as a result of the interest in planning months in advance for part of the area's largest Christmas parade. It is my personal feelings that to protect our downtown merchants, our restaurants, that we should continue with the tradition that has been going on for 23 years or more and have the parade on the first Tuesday night after Thanksgiving. It is less strain on our city departments and has worked well in the past. That's just one opinion. Well, I would say that's my opinion along with a lot of others. Thank you.
So let me just, Councilman Johnson's gonna, I'm sure, make some remarks. Let's be clear, this is not a Councilman Goolsby versus Johnson.
No, by no means.
By no means, yes.
I have no
So
business
they just happen to
with
have a
Councilman
difference of
Johnson.
opinion, but
We were voluntold.
Yeah.
What I recommend to each council member, besides Eugene, he could do it again too, is to talk with each rep that was at that meeting to hear the passion. Everyone had a lot of passion that night during that meeting. One thing is, the thing I got out of the whole meeting was parking is the biggest problem downtown. If we had 100 spaces designated right now in an area nearby Corks and Cattle and Annie's, or back of Rawls someplace, because those were the 3 restaurants that were represented, and it was great that they were there. I don't think we'd have this problem. If on the other side of the railroad track, going towards the EMS facility there, if there was that one grassed area with parking for everybody, I don't think we'd have this problem. That's the key that I got out of it. The other thing is people coming in the night before in the morning
the park. You can't close it off because the businesses need people to use those parking spaces out there. So you can't just say, okay, well, how do you get rid of those folks? And I wish I knew the answer for that. Unless you post a sign at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, no parking after 3 or 4 until the parade's over. You know, I've seen that happen in Savannah at St. Patrick's Day Parade, where they close hundreds of streets that are downtown, it seems like. The parking seems the biggest problem down there. The DEVA president did a survey, and Chad presented that to us and showed the folks. And if you look at that, I recommend you do, you'll see the stats didn't fare one way or the other than just people said, hey, we don't care what night it's on. Let's just do it. The other thing I want to say is that, are we setting a precedence? If we, you know, when I took the oath, I took it for the entire community, not just one part of it. So I have to listen to everybody in the community. And working in the back of the parade for the last 10 years at least, I've had several folks, and even churches, and students, if you want, say, why is this on a Tuesday night, a school night? Because after that, we got to go straight home. Now, there are some folks that say, no, that's not a problem for ours. But on a Friday night, the majority of those folks that are out on a parade now can go out and spend their money downtown or around town. I made a suggestion that on Lee Street, that we don't block that street. You know, we keep it open so people can go across Lee Street to the other side of the restaurant there until just before the parade, 6:15, 6:20, because the parade doesn't start till 6:30, and it's not going to be down there by that time. So then we can have cars go through there. Again, are we setting a precedence that says any organization that wants to do a downtown event on a Friday night, that the folks down there, and I understand where they're coming from. I know that it's money, but now does that mean no events and no closing of the streets? I can see this town one day blocking downtown from the Methodist Church to the Baptist Church. Right now, it's just up to Lee Street, but we're growing, and there's going to be folks, and we're going to have vendors and everything else all the way up to the Baptist Church. So we're going to have to look at that situation too. It's going to block the street. So again, are we setting ourselves up to say, well, this organization wants to block it on Friday night for an entertainment district or whatever it might be, drink and stroll or whatever the Headland's doing now and stuff. Do we, does that come up and say, okay, no Friday night events, no blocking my area. Parking. Let's concentrate on parking. Again, and I'll finish with this. Yes, people know we have the parade on that Tuesday. We have 8 months to get the word out. And a lot of those parade folks, have theirs on Friday night, and they close their downtown, Elba especially. Headland probably will do theirs. But we have 8 months to figure this out. And I know I got groans when I said it, but, there's so many Fridays in the year. I don't have a business, but I'm not going to concentrate on just that one Friday. I know maybe party night's beginning of Christmas, but it's right the very first weekend. Maybe couponing, maybe, give out a special that night on the parade. Get folks in there. I'd be wanting to fill every one of those seats in my restaurant. And I'd do the marketing to get them in there. And if I know people want to eat in those places, they're going to get to those places. It may be inconvenient a little bit, but I'll tell you, they'll park way out at the end of Walmart and walk all the way to Walmart. And if you park at the courthouse, it's not that far to those areas. Thank you.
Mr. Padgett, would you got an opinion on this?
I can see both sides to it. I'd say the one thing that really sticks out to me more than anything about which night it is the fact that it was brought out by both Councilman Goolsby and at the a meeting that I had with Chad with Diva, is that no matter what day it's on, people start parking and blocking parking spaces on the night before. And he said when it's on Tuesday, they will fill that street with their trucks and cars and stuff, and the merchants might as well close their doors the whole day of the Tuesday of the parade, because there's no parking hardly available on Main Street, because people feel like they've got to get there and get their tailgate spot ahead of time so they can sit there. So I don't know. I'm almost at the point that that's a bigger problem right now than which day it's on, in my opinion.
The last thing I'll say is May 11th is the next parade meeting. I think we're a little premature until the parade committee can come back and say, oh, we'll move it back to Tuesday, or we're going to stay with Friday.
And we're certainly not.
Yeah.
This is just a discussion. I don't
No.
think, if we don't want to make any action tonight, we can wait till after that. Just so that the public is aware and everyone here is aware. Our issue is not whether we are, or if it should happen that way, where we would be voting to change the date of the parade. You know, if this is something that comes back to the council, that's not what we will determine. We would just actually be voting on just the issue that was before us in the very beginning. Do we approve the street closure or not? Okay, just so that everybody's clear on that. And so we will, I guess we will address this at our next work session, depending on what
Yes, ma'am.
your
Mm-hmm.
is that fine with everybody, or it's not? That's fine. Okay, so we'll do that. So we're right on schedule with our agenda. Is there any discussion for the actual agenda? Is there any questions about our agenda tonight, other than what we've already discussed? We've got hearing for rezone issue, an introduction from the planning, an introduction recommendation from the planning commission, back to school sales tax. We'll consider that resolution. And I'm just listing the things that we haven't already discussed. Authorization for a request from the Alabama State Games Committee. And that looks like that's all that we have. Any comments, any questions on any of those items that we're gonna have before us later? Okay. Anything that any other council member would like to address? We got a couple more minutes. All right. We will adjourn our work session. Do I do a second and all that? Motion?
Second.
Yeah.
You need
A
one.
motion
You got
to
it.
adjourn work
So
session.
moved.
Okay. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
All right. So we're adjourned from our work session, and we'll resume at 6 o'clock for our regular meeting.
That what? Yeah.
break, y'all.
Do we have a name of the person that was going to do it?
Now, Carol usually puts a sheet in. Says who it is. May not have been on the schedule. Mayor Cooper. You know, it's a pastor here tonight. Normally Carol puts that in Turner's packet. I didn't see it. Okay. I mean, just one that she's assigned. Okay. Scotty, has the group thought about, I thought about this, has the group thought about that, looking at some of the things like you said, both of y'all said about parking being an issue, and working those kids out, keep the parade on a Tuesday, work those kids out in the upcoming year, and have some recommendations, and everybody can be on board about it from using it Friday.
It's bad. I know your knees. I think you should. I'm telling you, mine broke one time.
What
Yeah.
time is it, son?
5:59.
I'll
What you
watch
got?
this couple moves fast, I reckon.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start our council meeting for May 4th. We ask that you stand. We do have all our council members present except our president who could not be here tonight, so I will be presiding in his absence. So we ask that you please stand for our opening prayer and our pledge. Yes, sir.
Let's pray together. Oh Lord, we pray tonight over this council, over the leadership of this city. We thank you that in Jesus we see the example of leadership is servanthood. So we pray tonight as decisions are made, discussions are had, Lord, that the service of this city, the service of its citizens, the service of one another will be forefront in the minds and the hearts of all who speak, of all who make decisions. God, may we all here in this meeting have ears to hear and eyes to see one another. And may we have words that speak the truth with compassion and love and clarity. Lord, bless this proceeding and this meeting and the decisions that may come forth from it. In your name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, councilmen, you have your agenda before you. At this time, I ask for a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Are we gonna use the little button?
Oh, we're back on normal now, but can we just record that as voice, that one, everyone?
Okay.
And for the record, I guess I'm Turner on that. Okay, so now we will consider the consent agenda. All matters listed within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the council for review, are considered to be routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the city council with no separate discussion. If separate discussion is desired on an item, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request of a member of the city council. I will now call for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Ready for question? Any discussion, I'm sorry? All in favor? Motion carried. Okay. Now we will have our privilege of the floor, and this is where we allow anyone that is here tonight that would like to address the council on an issue. You may come at this time. You will have 3 minutes to present to us if you desire. And if you would, please give your name to our clerk.
Good evening, Mayor, councilors. Thank you for providing me this opportunity. I wanted to bring to your attention my company, which I've had given you handouts for tonight, and I've left some extras here in case anybody in the audience would like to take some. The company is called Recyclops, and what we do is we provide at-home recycling collection in places that either never had it or no longer had it. So I'm aware of the fact that Leeds at one time had a curbside recycling program, and due to cost, contamination, things like that, the program was terminated. So our firm comes in and gives the opportunity for folks to have that type of program again. Now, what makes it different than a traditional municipal type of program? First and foremost, it's a subscription program. So people are paying to be part of the program. And the payment is $12 a month, and the collection is every other week. So some months it's 3 times, but every month it's at least 2 times collected. As I mentioned, we are an environmental firm first and foremost, so unlike some other places in the country where people think that they have a recycling program going on, lo and behold, they find out that they've been separating the recyclables and then putting them in their carts or in their bags, and they're ending up either at the landfill or the garbage burning plant. That doesn't happen with us. We make sure that the materials get recycled. Our program is much different in other ways to traditional municipal programs. We don't have big trucks rolling up and down your streets, tearing your streets up. This is handled through a gig economy type. It's an Uber type service where we contract with independent truck drivers, and they drive their pickup trucks, and we independently contract with the resident to have that service provided. So it's a one-on-one type of service like that. We set up our business on that type of Uber platform for two reasons. Operationally, as I mentioned, the employees are gig employees, so they're part-time, but they're well paid. They're about $25 an hour. It's generally about one driver for every 50 to 65 homes. Once we get 100 homes to sign up, the program can begin, and generally it takes about 2 to 4 weeks once we have 100 homes signed up. The reason I'm here tonight is because we've had residents reaching out to us on our website requesting our services in the city of Enterprise. So I wanted to make this, I wanted to make you aware of this program. The other reason we set up our business this way on the Uber model is legally. So we do this so that we don't run afoul of ordinances on people's books. So if you think about the taxi industry or the livery business, most municipalities across the country have ordinances on the books that say you have to do this, this, and this. Well, Uber and Lyft completely upended that model, and so we've taken that model also as it relates to that type of situation, so we stay out of trouble running afoul of ordinances and things like that. I know this is just a statement. If you have a question, I'm available, and if anyone would like me to stay later to answer any questions, I'm completely available to do that.
Thank you, sir. If you would definitely leave your name and your number with Ms. Beverly over there. Like, this is our privilege of the floor,
Right.
so, but if
Understood.
you would want an opportunity to present to us further in a work session, we would certainly welcome that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Okay. Now we will get into our old business. We have a public hearing and consideration of ordinance 04-06-21, Industrial Development Board rezone. Call for a public hearing prior to consideration of ordinance 04-06-21, providing for the rezone of 108.18 acres of land owned by the Industrial Development Board of the City of Enterprise from M2 General Manufacturing to MD Medical District located at 3400 Rocky Head Road. At this time, I will open the hearing for the consideration of this ordinance. Is it anyone here to speak for or against this rezone? Okay, having no one, I will close the hearing and we will consider ordinance 04-06-21. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we consider the ordinance 04-06-21.
Second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? All in favor, please make your sign on your thing. Motion carries. All right, that's it for our old business. New business, we'll introduce a planning commission recommendation. Introduce for the record a recommendation from the Enterprise Planning Commission to approve the following request for the rezone of property. This is a request by Michael Spencer for the rezone of 0.377 acres of land from B2, this downtown business district, to R65 residential district located at 306 North Ross Street. Introduce ordinance 05-0421 the Spencer rezone. Introduce ordinance 05-04-21, providing for the rezone of 0.377 acres of land owned by Michael Spencer from a B2 downtown business district to R65 residential district located at 306 North Ross Street. Call for a public hearing. This will be held at our regularly scheduled meeting on June 1st, 2021. Introduce ordinance 05-04-21-A, which is to amend ordinance 04-06-21-A. Introduce ordinance -05-04-21-A, providing to amend ordinance 04-06-21-A related to the Series 2021A and Series 2021B warrants. The warrant ordinance adopted on April 6 to authorize the issuance of the Series 2021A and the Series 2021B warrants, provided for annual payments of principal on May 1st of each year and semi-annual payments of interest on each May 1st and November 1st for both Series 2021A and Series 2021B. However, when the underwriter priced the warrants with investors, they determined that it was more financially efficient for the Series 2021A warrants to have annual payments of principal on August 1st and interest payments on each February 1st and August 1st, and for the Series 2021B warrants to have annual payments of principal on October 1st and interest payments on April 1st and October 1st. These revisions were made in order to conform to the payment schedules of the city's previous warrants that were being refunded. The proposed ordinance makes these amendments to the respective payment schedules and otherwise confirms the original warrant ordinance. While suspension of the rules is not necessary to consider this ordinance and act upon it in a height of caution, legal counsel has requested that the council suspend the rules and act thereon. Do I have a motion to suspend the rules?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion on suspension of the rules? All in favor, make your signs on the monitor. Okay. So we would have suspended the rules, and now I will entertain a motion for ordinance 05-04-21-A.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance 05-04-21-A.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Please make your signs. Motion carries. We will review and consider resolution 05-04-21. This is the back to school sales tax holiday. We will introduce and call for consideration of resolution 05-04-21, providing for the adoption of the back to school sales tax holiday as per Act 2017-120, beginning at 12:01 a.m. on Friday, July 16, 2021, and ending at 12 midnight on Sunday, July 18, 2021. Cover items relate to purchases for school purposes to include, among other things, clothing, school supplies, and computers. Council, what's your desire? A motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, make your signs. Okay, it's carried. We review and consider resolution 05-04-21-A. This is creating a new job classification for finance accounting manager. Introduce and call for consideration of resolution 05-04-21-A, providing for the establishment of the position of finance accounting manager, pay grade 2. We discussed this in our work session tonight. Is there I'm sorry, what did I say? Grade 12. Is there a motion for this to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? Okay, make your signs, please. Okay, motions carry. Okay, we review and consider resolution 05-04-21-B. This is amending classification plan salary schedule. Introduce and call for consideration of resolution 05-04-21-B, providing for an amendment to ordinance 10-16-01, which establishes the employee classification plan salary schedule. The amendment calls for the elimination of the position of jailer, pay grade 6, and the addition of the position of public relations technician, pay grade 5. We also discussed this in our work session earlier. Is there a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all in favor, make your signs. So carried. Authorize the police chief to enter into contract. This is with Lexipol-PGO. It's calling for a motion to authorize the police chief to enter into a contract with Lexipol LLC for the preparation of policy, guidelines, and orders, PGO, for the Enterprise Police Department. Total cost of the contract is $34,628.57 this fiscal year, with an additional $20,518.62 annually. And Chief presented this to us in work session as well. Is there a motion to authorize the police chief to enter into contract?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, make your signs. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Authorize the contribution to Alabama State Games. Introduce and call for consideration of a request from the Alabama State Games, the ASF Foundation, for a one-time contribution in the amount of $10,000 to assist and host events within the city. The games, hosted by the cities of Dothan, Ozark, and Enterprise, will be held June 11th through 13th, 2021. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Is there any discussion? Those in favor, make your signs, or make your signs, please. Okay. Now we will have our mayor's report. Mayor.
Parks and Recreation baseball and softball games end May 25th. All-Star play will begin in June. Tournaments and events hosted April 3rd. Travel Ball USA Baseball Tournament, 13 teams. Upcoming tournaments and events. May 24th, USSSA Softball Tournament. June the 4th and 5th, All-Star Jamboree. June the 11th and 13th, Alabama Sports Foundation State Game. June the 18th through the 22nd, Dixie Ozone AAA and AA Baseball District Tournament. June the 19th, USSA Softball Tournament. Special programs and events. Weight Watchers meet on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Senior Acrobatics meet on Tuesday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Fishing at the Enterprise Recreation Complex. Senior Citizen is the first and third Friday of each month, and the public fishing is the third Saturday of each month. This is for the big pond only. Pickleball play meets on Monday and Thursday, 6:30 p.m., and on Saturday at 9 a.m. Ladies play meets on Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. The courts are behind the Recreation Center. Zumba classes are doing really well with over 35 participants, and they meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. All-in credit union car sales went well. Festival in the Park was a huge success. Summer camp registration starts May 3rd, and camps begin on June 7th. Civic Center. City Court is meeting 7 days for the month of May. Ballroom Dance Club dance is set for May 15th. Farmers Market. We're having very good turnout with the farmers and vendors. 5 paid events and 8 city-sponsored meetings for the month of May. May 15th is the Farmers Market Kickoff. Senior Citizen Center. Program started back up and we have an average of 10 coming in, feeding about 33 through pickup and taking home, delivering 23 to homebound senior citizens. Projects. New playground equipment at Gibson Park on Watts and Carroll Street is complete. Playground equipment at West Side Park has been delivered. We'll start installing it this month. Engineering department. Single families detached, 4,019,441. Residential, 612,045. Commercial addition 5, 188,000. Nuisance property investigated 47. Verbal contact 7. Email 1. Notifications mailed 39. Properties without progress 19. Properties mitigated 21. In progress 7. Water department. There was 23 new construction water meter services installed in the month of April. The Dawn Smith Company has begun this week on the foundation of Well House 4A. The Dawn Smith Company has drilled the Highway 167 North Well 6A enough to run an electrical log which was completed last week. They are back this week widening the hole to get ready to set the test pump. This process takes about 2 to 3 weeks to complete. Miscellaneous. This week, I signed the purchase agreement for Series A and B bonds. This will mean that we should receive approximately $21 million in funds on about May 18th. Pricing went well, and overall, we are paying approximately 2% interest rate on the funds borrowed. Just rates moved up the next day, and we are hoping to see them come back down prior to our Series C bonds. These are your announcements, Madam President.
Thank you, Mayor. Now we have council member comments. Councilman Gooseby.
Well, you all can tell that I'm very much in favor of the Christmas parade being the first Tuesday night after Thanksgiving, as it has been for the last 23 plus years. But regardless how it turns out, I will support it. And regardless how it turns out, Scotty and I'll still be friends. Thank y'all for coming.
God bless you.
Councilman Paget.
Thank all you for coming, and I want to say thank you so much to all the city employees for all you do. It is noticed, even if it's not mentioned.
Thank you to all the department heads and all the great work that was done this weekend with the Children's Festival out there. It was just a tremendous success. So everybody that worked at, I know all the department heads had something to do with that. And I had the opportunity this morning to meet 2 young gentlemen. I didn't get their name because they were blocking traffic that was out there patching roads up off Alberta. And I just wanted to thank them. I'll let you know they're out there, and they're just these 2 guys going around doing it. But they're hard at work, and they appreciate it. And again, thank you to all those citizens that are viewing us online. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone for coming tonight. And of course, we do have excellent department heads, and we do have excellent individuals that work for our city. So we're very fortunate. Councilman Townsend had every intention of being here tonight, but I guess Atlanta heart so said different, so he could not be with us. So whisper a prayer that he has safe travels as he tries to make it back home. And that is all that we have for tonight. And so we are now adjourned. Our next meeting will be Tuesday 18th. Work session beginning at 5 p.m. Have a good night.